Welcome to Season 2 of Stand Up and Stand Out, the show for those leaving university and heading into the workforce, or for those already working but disillusioned by their current job. I'm your host, Nikki G, and we're here to help those in transition find a life with purpose so they can pursue their passion. Following nearly 2 decades working in Fortune 500 companies, I want to share my leadership learnings with all of you. Thought leaders are needed in all walks of life, not just business. And we're in a critical time to pivot ourselves and the community around us to build a better future together. There's no syllabus for this part of the journey. It's time for you to choose your own adventure. Let us help you map the path that aligns with your values and supports your goals and dreams. Work doesn't have to be a bad 4-letter word. By bringing your unique strengths to the table, the impossible can become possible. My stretch goal for this season will be to practice my Spanish, appreciate your support so I can achieve my goals, and keep pushing myself to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Let's get ready for the next episode. Bienvenido a la segunda temporada de Parte y Sé Destacado, el podcast para aquellos que buscan encontrar de su camino de la universidad al trabajo, desde el cercano de sus padres hasta vivir con compañeros de cuarto y cómo disfrutar de la transición mientras logran sus objetivos profesionales, ayudándote a dar un salto hacia la vida que te hará feliz y no te dejará hundiéndote a la vida. Welcome back to Season 2 of Stand Up and Stand Out, the podcast for those looking to find their way from college to work, from mom and dad's basement to living with your roommates, and how to enjoy the transition while achieving your career goals. Helping you take the leap towards a life that makes you happy and doesn't leave you treading water in the deep end. I'm Nikki G, your host, and we're kicking off Season 2 and Episode 11 of Stand Up and Stand Out. Today's episode, it's a celebration and a reflection. Not only is it my birthday, but it's also the 1-year anniversary of my pandemic pivot. For those of you who are fans of the show, you know that last year I quit my corporate job and left to pursue my passion of helping others find their strength and their uniqueness with my new business, Green Chameleon Collective. As any great entrepreneur will tell you, building a business is a roller coaster labor of love. It's filled with lots of exciting climbs to the apex and then lots of fear for your life while you try not to vomit on the way down. More on my first year entrepreneurial reflections in my new Medium publication, L'Entrepreneur Caméléon, links for which are in the show notes. As part of the celebration and reflection, it was a great time to kick off Season 2 of our show. Although most people hate New Year's resolutions, I live for them. I think setting big goals is such an important part of life. If we never set goals, we can never discover what we're capable of. I think too many people focus on the negatives of goal setting. They focus on the failure rates, endless rhetoric about how often and how quickly people fall short of those goals. Honestly, it drives me nuts. If you set a goal, a real goal, a goal that's just out of reach, but still something that you desire, every step forward is a victory to be celebrated, and it helps you continue to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Uno de mis objetivos este año es practicar mis habilidades lingüísticas. El español es mi tercer idioma y a menudo se confunde con el inglés y francés cuando hablo. Gracias por la oportunidad de practicar con todos ustedes. It's important to try new things. Just as I'm trying to practice my Spanish with all of you, it's important to push yourself. And even though I'm saying to make big goals, making a path to achieving those goals is equally important. For those of you new to the show, don't mistake me for one of those toxically positive people. Those that tell you to be happy and everything is possible if you put your mind to it, regardless of the obstacles in front of you. I'm exactly the opposite. I had a boss like this once, constantly gaslighting at every opportunity. She made me start every one-to-one with something that went well in the last week, but nothing I shared as highlights seemed to be good enough for her. I tried by telling her positive things in my personal life. Well, I ran 10 miles Saturday and I rode my bike another 25 on Sunday. My triathlon training, it's really coming along, I would smile and report. She was never pleased with my response. No, will it work? Tell me a positive outcome of your current project, she would reprimand me. Crickets. I couldn't think of anything. My project was honestly in the shitter, and it was losing the company millions of dollars. Not for anything I could prevent. It was an uphill battle to enter an already saturated market with an inferior product. And no amount of rainbows and sunshine in my weekly update was going to change that fact. It would be years before this project would result in the desired impact. I figured using my personal experiences on the weekend should count towards a positive outlook. A testament that the overwhelming challenges in the project didn't affect my overall mental well-being. And I was out training with other people from the office, which created improved camaraderie with the team. They shared wins from other projects they were working on, but none of this counted in her mind. She labeled me as toxically negative and wrote me out. I pleaded my case that I see projects at work similar to the way I see training for an endurance event. I want to know the challenges ahead so I can plan to address them. I want to know that there's a hill at mile 20 that's called Heartbreak Hill, so I can train for that type of terrain at that late stage in a marathon. I want to know when I jump into the surf of a triathlon that the first 400 meters is a beating strong waves and currents, and then things calm down for the remaining mile. And it helps to know that that same surf that beats you up on the way in can provide a fast, fun exit to the beach at the end. So my reports to management echoed this honest reflection. Here are the challenges, and here are my recommendations on how to prevent or minimize their impact. But because of her desire to make a positive spin on a shitty situation, there was little about my role in the project that could have made it better. Well, except maybe a better manager, but I digress. Why am I telling this story as I talk about pushing your limits and setting big goals? Because I bet many of you have this same situation right now. A boss or a teacher who wants you to find the silver lining in this pandemic, and you're struggling to find it. Regardless of your phase of life, whether you're currently a college student, maybe you're a parent with kids, maybe you're already a professional office worker, or even my favorite server at our local restaurant, we are all experiencing this pandemic roller coaster in ways that are more similar than they are different. We are struggling to get past today because we're uncertain of the challenges ahead or how much longer we have to go. And setting new goals is a critical factor in moving through this struggle. When I look back and I remember my visions of 2020, I knew it would be a dream come true as I hit my sabbatical year from my job. After 5 years of insane hours at my tech job, I would receive 5 weeks of paid time off. I had planned this amazing trip around the world to visit a number of countries and continents I had yet to see. And then, as we all know, all hell broke loose in March of 2020. But sadly, the dam broke for me 4 months before the pandemic was a reality. All it took was one terrible new boss to destroy all I had worked for and to crush my sabbatical dreams, along with the camaraderie of our team. And it didn't take months or weeks or even days for this destruction to happen. This new boss killed everything in the first 1-hour meeting. He wasn't the first bad boss I've had, but he would certainly be the last. 20 years of this constant turnover of bad management in tech companies. Enough was enough. I know many of you have experienced the same thing, and you want help so you can find a new path forward. With this next season of Stand Up and Stand Out, I want to challenge you and your way of thinking. With season 1, we worked to challenge your perception of career with a number of amazing guests that have found their passion by experimenting with their paycheck. By trying new things and setting new goals, they discovered new skills, explored new hobbies, and continued to enjoy versus stress over the life they were pursuing. If anyone missed it over the summer, we hosted a 3-day virtual conference called I Graduated, Now What? We gathered even more amazing speakers to showcase what you can do if you dream big. I want to share some parts of their talks with you over season 2 of Stand Up and Stand Out. Important topics like how to lock down the key elements of interviewing or deciding on grad school, all the way on how to retrain your brain and how to build the career or business you believe in. We will focus on our values and we're going to face our fears. We need to set our foundation before we start to build upon it for our future. You may have set out with a career in mind 4 years ago when you went off to university, and maybe that career no longer exists. Or it exists entirely on video from your kitchen table, and that's not the dream job you had envisioned. Without the fun parts of being in the office or getting to know your coworkers and connecting with others to learn new skills, work, as we've come to define it, has lost its luster. The culture of working until you drop, it was always a challenge, but some of those silver linings of fun made it bearable. But it was never a sustainable model to begin with, and now it's showing signs of age and of irrelevance in this post-pandemic era. So what's next? That's what I intend to explore with you over the next season of Stand Up and Stand Out. One other fun fact before we sign off. In August, I attended Podcast Movement 2021 conference to learn from the best and work to take this show and my business to the next level. It was a bit like going to Comic-Con in the old days. Lots of cool people who love their craft and are open and willing to share their knowledge with others. I made some great friends, and hopefully you can catch me on a number of other people's podcasts soon. We also asked experts in the podcasting field to audit the podcast, which I highly recommend to other podcasters. They were incredibly helpful, sharing lots of simple tips to take the show from okay to great. Everything from intro and outro music and visuals to commercial placement within the episode. We have also expanded to new platforms like Good Pods, Amazon Music, and Stitcher, so more people can find our awesome content. The Green Chameleon crew are working on making content and audio improvements and more for you as a listener. I hope you enjoyed the improvements to the show. As always, your reviews, comments, and feedbacks are welcome. Well, another awesome show in the books. I hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed making it. For video outtakes of the show, don't forget to catch us on TikTok, You Don't Stop, at Nikki Green 678. The full-length shows are available on all the podcast platforms now, including Amazon Music, Stitcher, and Good Pods. The full video is available on Nikki's YouTube channel, and links to all of our social media, including info about our guests, is available in our show notes and on our website at www.greenchameleoncollective.com/podcast. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye.